The series begins with Ashk entering an abandoned house and starting to like it and remembering her school gang and what they were doing in school to the point that their name was the worst group of people. We go back to the year 1998 with the beginning of the school year, and the first one in the group is Othman, the person who can get money from anywhere, very interested in his own interests and earns money by selling school assignments to students. He knows the principal Najda is doing, but he can't do anything to harm him except warn him. The second one is Karam, the most nervous person in the school who can fight with anyone for the most trivial reason, and Peter was expelled from the basketball team because he hit the referee. Third one is, what is this? The principal calls her the school devil and is the reason for the teacher's expulsion from the school after the principal sees them together between classes. The fourth one is Asman, a person who doesn't care about anything in his life because he is always drunk. He always goes to classes late and is loved by the naughty kind girl who loves romantic stories and love stories and tries to get close to him by any means. Najdat raises the school line about a competition against another school, and she will order the students to be responsible and not cause problems. 2. Schools gather in the competition hall, and Othman is able to agree with the second school on a bet that the winner will take the other's money. He collects money from them to get what he wants. Kareem is responsible for bringing the loudspeaker to the competition. Abel Taleb is in front of him and talks to him in a bad way. He puts the loudspeaker on his head, and Adek decides to control the competition lights and enters the control room and ruins the lights until Najdat rushes out of the room. They try to complete the competition without the loudspeaker, and she throws her hand at Kareem to make him more angry. Fight breaks out between the two schools. The competition is ruined, and Al Sanan stands watching the fight with a bottle of whiskey in his hand. He lets go of the electric plug and it catches fire in the place. Competition is ruined, and the school is excluded from the competition and any future competitions. Whole group is summoned to a board meeting to decide what to do with them. They start investigating each student and find no benefit from them. They vote for the final expulsion of the group on the condition that all the teachers present agree to their refusal. However, the vote ends with 12 votes in favor and 1 against. This is because he is afraid for their future. Do not reject them. Najdat is very upset that they got away from him as usual because he wishes to reject them and get rid of them. After they know the committee's decision, they need to know who rejected their rejection and voted in their favor. They go to the troublemaker who attended the board meeting to find out from her, 'cause she is afraid of them. She says that Miss Borju is the one who was afraid for their future, and they know that Borju is their last hope in school, and after that each one goes home, and Sinan appears that he lives alone in a big house with his sick grandfather, and his family does not care about him because they are separated and each one has his own family, and he is the one who lives with his grandfather. And the next day, Miss Borju receives a letter approving her transfer from the school she is in after 2 months to a school in another city, and Nekdet is very happy with the news because he will finally be able to separate the group as he pleases, and delivers the news to each group, and they know that their end is near, and they all gather to see how he will act. And the principal Bian is upset with them from his window, and he really intends to separate them and get married in Sinan's house so they can think and solve it, until they decide that Burju must fall in love and love someone from the school, so she chooses to stay by his side and not leave him, and because they are all failures in love, so the troublemakers come to help them, and she agrees because she loves Miss Burju, tells them that the most important first thing is to find a suitable candidate for her. They keep searching among the school teachers until they reach the basketball coach, who was a professional basketball player and retired after his injury. They all fall apart at the beginning of the plan together. We go back to Shak, and she is in Sinan's abandoned house. She sent letters to all the members of the group so that they can meet again. Each one is in a different place and city from the other. They renew their friendship in Sinan's house and think about how to bring Kamal and Burju together in one place and attract them to each other. They keep thinking together and staying up late. They go back the next day and Kamal's dealings with everyone are a bit difficult. Well, one talks to him, including Burju herself. Osman is able to know Kamal's favorite team through his connections. Their plan is for Kamal and Burju to go to the same party and meet. She falls in love with a young man in school and Karam comes after her and beats up this young man on the basis that he is flirting with his girlfriend. What is this? Ashk stands next to the fight to see what is happening. As soon as the fight starts, she goes to break up the fight or grabs her desk because she is exhausted from crying. She tells her that she heard Kareem that he will continue the fight at the party they are going to. She asks Bujo that she must come to the party because Kareem will be afraid of fighting in her presence. What is this? She succeeds in getting Burju to go to Kamal's favorite band's party. They start convincing Kamal himself to go to the party and he is upset that they should even talk to him because he can't stand anyone. But Sinan succeeds in selling him a ticket to the party by putting the poster in his face so that he can see it in front of him. Kamal buys the ticket and they read it. After they finish the plan, they find that Ashk tells them that she won't be able to come with them because her mother will refuse in Beirut. At the end of the day, they try to convince her mother that Ashk should come with them on her outing and they will be. They take care of her and nothing wrong will happen, and he turns on her until she agrees and tells them that she loves Kashk very much and takes care of her like any mother or father who loves their children. And Sanan gets annoyed by what they hear because their father and they leave him and do not care about him, and he goes to the balcony for a while, and after he goes home he keeps crying because of his family's neglect of him, and the time of the party comes and the group is able to gather Kamal and Burj in one place, and they hate them for any reason to make them talk together, and they keep watching from afar, but they find that Burj and Kamal do not talk to each other until an idea comes to Sanan, and he goes to Burj and tells her that someone threw his phone in the bathroom and if she could help him and return it to him. So she loves the bathroom, and because it is the men's bathroom, Kamal goes with her, and as soon as they enter, Sanan locks the door on them and writes on the bathroom under repair and leaves them locked together inside. They might get closer to each other, but after they stay together for a while, he manages to break the bathroom door and get out of it, and the group loses hope in them and decides to leave and abandon the party, and Burju's bag is with Ashk holding it, and her last hope is that Kamal will take her home because she doesn't have money to ride. And then what's this? She offers them to go to her house because Burju lives in the building in front of hers and waiting for Kamal to appear in his car, and he actually appears with Ashk, and she invites Kamal to enter with her to have a hot drink together, and at that moment Karam is tense and impressed by what is happening, and she takes notice of this. But she asks him to leave her house before her family comes, and she will inform them tomorrow about the news, and Karam leaves while he is upset, and Burj Albayt is sitting talking about the school and the group that would have been rejected from the school if it weren't for her, and she asks Kamal that when she leaves the school he doesn't allow Naj to reject these students because she loves them and is confident that there is hope from them, and she drank a lot to the point that she became drunk, and Kamal gets up to take her to her bed, and she asks him to stay with her and not leave her so that she can sleep reassured and really between her and him, and he goes to sleep on the couch, and Karam has arrived at his house, and it becomes clear that his father is one of the big businessmen, but he is always independent. He beats his son. Next day, Burj wakes up and philosophizes about He tells her that he has to leave and kisses her. Group is at school waiting to see them coming together to understand what happened between them. They come separately, and he frowns and understands that nothing happened between them. They enter the school and find Najdad in front of them. They tell him that he only has 1 month left, and after that he will be able to expel them from the school because Miss Burj, their only hope, will have left by then. They all go to their class because they have an exam, and as usual, Sinan does not care about solving the exam. So Ash gets up and exchanges her exam paper for his and makes him pass instead of her. He only writes a little on her paper and tells the teacher that she was unable to study this time, and he does not understand why Sinan acted this way with him. As soon as the class ends, Sinan goes to quarrel with Ash and she with the rest of the group over what she did to him because he is sure that she loves him. Sinan is afraid of loving or being loved, and it is his habit that the first time he feels this, he ruins his relationship with the person he loves. So he goes to quarrel with Kashk because she cannot live the role of the sacrifice with him. He tells her not to do this to him or anyone else and that she must be selfish. He also quarrels with Karam because he yells at her and they say that she helped him and he is supposed to thank her, but the whole group quarrels with each other until they decide that they do not know each other anymore. So their love plan failed, as there is no hope that they will not get angry. They quarrel and leave, and each one tries to get out the anger he has in Beirut. Karam quarrels with people in the street and keeps hitting them, and they hit him. Asnan goes to cry and scream while he is at home. What is this? She keeps drawing. She starts to cry until she stops her drawings and screams with anger and goes to Ash to take the secondary school picture by herself, and she waits for them all, but they don't come, and she feels lonely and doesn't have any friends, and she is currently waiting for the whole group to come back to her again after she sent them all letters to gather in Sinan's old house, and she wishes that she doesn't feel lonely like they did to her on the secondary picture day, and she finds that the chandelier fell and destroyed the table that she had prepared, and she looks in front of her and finds the bottle that Sinan was drinking from, and that he was left alone and not between them, and that if they put a new plan they could renew the love between them, and then their plan will succeed. And indeed Kamal will be admiring her and will try to get close to her a lot, but she will reject him and will gather the whole group again, and Betasirk, Ashk, and after school they will all go out, and Bella will find Burj in front of them, and she will greet someone and get ready and go to get in the car, and they will all understand that she is in a relationship and that he is her lover. So she was rejecting Kamal, and that it is their fault because they did not research her life well, and indeed Burj will go home with her lover, and Aya will keep an eye on them from her apartment, and Betasirk, and their goal is to separate Burj and her lover, and then they will meet Kamal, but Ashk objects to their words and that it is not right to separate two people for their personal interests. So Betasirk and Sinan will want to prove to Ashk that her lover does not deserve her and that Kamal is more suitable for her. So Sinan goes out in the rain after taking off his jacket and goes to talk to Burju's lover to see if he will take off his jacket, why or not. Indeed her lover does not take off his clothes until Burju comes, so that he appears to be a gentleman in front of her. Sinan goes, and the next day, however, they do not find Sinan with them, and they know that Burju also has a day off from school, and they wonder how to separate her from her lover. Unfortunately, at the same time, Burju is engaged to her lover with all her family and his family, but she is upset because she is thinking of Kamal. Sinan is in the hospital because he has a fever since the rainy day, but the hospital asks for his family's approval to give him certain medications, cause he leaves the hospital alone, and as soon as he gets out of it he faints and remains lying on the ground in front of them until he is transferred emergency, and the house is dealt with alone. And because Ashk is sure that Asen is sick, she goes to check on him and brings him food and tells him that Burju is engaged, and they confirmed, but Ada went to check on her and knew that her engagement is today, and they all gather at Sinan's house, and Osman tells them that her fiancé's name is Tunke and he works as an employee in the land registry office, and now they have to change their plan of separating Burju and Tunke to convince Tunke to stay in Istanbul and not travel and take Burju with him. But Sinan warns that a greedy person cannot be overcome by intelligence only, and makes Kamal's plan the backup plan, and they work on it again so as not to lose the admiration between them. And Osman has a plan and goes to return Kamal's jacket to Tunke as if it is his, and Osman says that he knows that the jacket is very expensive, so he took it from Sinan and decided to return it to him himself, and Because Osman knew that Tunkay greedy from watching him. Why did he find him before he takes Kamal's jacket, thinking it was his? And then Osman invites him to eat with him, and Tunsi agrees and tries to convince him that work in Istanbul is very fruitful and easy and has a lot of money, and he takes him to show him the business he is running and that he sells food to all the students through his contracting with many people who sell sandwiches at the cheapest price, and he runs a store with forged papers as if it is an authorized store in order to make the school deal with him only, and that he earns money even while he is still a student. And Osman offers him to take over the business with him and makes him think about the matter, and she is the hardest going to a lot of the teachers and suggests to them, since she is the president of the student union, that the party that will be held soon be led by Burcu and Kamal, because Burcu is about to leave and they want to deal with her more as kind of farewell, and Kamal is a new teacher, and at that time he gets along more with the students, and they agree to her suggestion, and Burcu goes to tell Kamal that she is busy at work preparing for the party, and Sinan has a day off from school, but he gets dressed and moves around to see Ashk, because he started to love her because of how much she cares for him, and he becomes an idiot and tells her that he wants to study and succeed to improve his future, and he doesn't know why, but he is about to graduate, and Ashk thinks he is making fun of her like he does, and she says that she is fed up with his games with her, and she is sure that he is. And Kareem is standing looking at her, and he is his colleague who he had a fight with before, and he says that he likes Aya and wants him to stay away from her, but Karim threatens that if he comes near her again then he will hit him. Like what happened, and Karim decides that he has to tell her about his love for her, and he tells her that he knows that there are feelings between them, and he wants to know what is missing in him is why she rejects him, and declares that she is not accustomed to someone occupying her mind like him, nor that someone controls her thinking like this, and this is new to her, and it is the reason why she stays away from him and leaves and goes back to her class again. Beirut is generous to Barak and tells him to break up with this, even if he wants to talk to her or relate to her, and he returns again. Kamal deals with Burcu by virtue of the party that they are going to have, and Burcu begins to compare the treatment of Tuncay and Kamal. You find Tuncay a dependent person who does not do anything at home and is interested in sports and work, but unlike Kamal, he likes to talk to him about everything that concerns her and teaches him how to play basketball. He comes the next day, and there is a Tun coming, wearing Kamal's jacket, and he enters the school tower to meet Najdet, because he wants to tell him something important. After a while, Othman finds that all the students are buying sandwiches around the school, and he understands that something is wrong. He made a mistake and went to his store, which was looking after me. He knows that Tunkay entered the school administration and reported that the store he deals with has forged papers. The store was closed, and the people who worked with Osman were cut off. That moment he remembers Sinan's words when he told him that a greedy person cannot lose with intelligence, but then one of the students runs to Tunkay and calls him a thief and steals his jacket in front of a tower. The student takes Tunkay's jacket and gives it to Osman, who keeps smiling at Tunkay as if he is declaring war on him because of what he did. He keeps walking alone in the street until he calls his father to come and get him. They ask him if he knows anyone at the land registry office. Kamal is completely sure that he loves Burga and reconciles with his love for her, but she is forced to confess her engagement to him and tries the impossible to stop thinking about him. She does not know how to act. Moreover, in less than a month she is supposed to travel and settle in another city and get married, so Kamal tells her that he will make things easier for her and leaves, and she cries, and at the end of the day Tunkay brings her his ring and she wears it and swallows the rest of her schoolmates that she got engaged in front of Kamal. The next day comes, and the students complete the party rehearsals, and the whole group participates in it, and they know that Kashk's birthday is in 3 days, but unfortunately every time Asnan opens his mouth and ruins the situation, even if he intends to say sweet things to Kashk, he makes her feel that there is no hope from him, and she becomes a tower and hits them alone because Kamal did not attend the rehearsal. So she enters his room and tells him that he has to be with her in the rehearsal, and it is not right that he does not attend even if there are problems between them, but he tells her that not everything revolves around her, and that he did not attend because he has work and he loves her. So Burj comes out of his room and finds her classmate in front of her, and she tells her that she admires Kamal and wants her to bring them closer together, but Burj refuses to interfere in these personal matters and leaves and completes the rehearsal. Next day comes and Osman begins his plan for revenge. On Tunkay makes Ali hit Tunkay to make him hear him saying on the phone that he offered his land for sale for 2 million instead of 5 because he is in a hurry for the money, and makes Tunkay covet Ali and offers him his help, and also Tunkay gives him a deposit of all the money he has, and this is exactly what Osman wants to complete his plan. And after school he goes to Barak to talk to Ade and tells her that he wants to marry her because he found out from Karam that she left him and told him that he has no problem with her marrying him. And she is tired. What is this more than what Karam said? And she goes to Asen because he is the philosopher of the group and asks him to analyze her personality. So he tells her that she is a coward who hides behind fake courage, in addition to her relationship with Karam, which she ran away from because this is her nature, and that she is a superficial person who only cares about people's opinions. So she tells him that if she a coward is also a coward because he is not able to be honest with Ashk about his feelings, and instead of confessing to her, he rejects her in his provocative way. At the same time, Tunkay prepares his clothes and tells Burj that he will leave the city for 2 days and return to her quickly because he has an important job that could earn him a lot of money. This is a golden opportunity for the group to make Burj get closer to Kamal again. Maybe they will succeed in renewing their relationship. They decide that Ashk and his wife will go visit her and talk to her. After school, Barak comes to talk to him and plays around with lunch together. Karam intervenes and tells them that their relationship is beautiful, and the most important thing is that they give themselves a chance to get to know each other. He does this to provoke Ada more, and Ada agrees to invite Barak to lunch, but she keeps talking about Karam and his way and personality. He spends all her conversation about him and makes Burj understand that he does not need her, and that what is this? She loves Karam. He quarrels with him and says she tells him that she used it to upset Kareem, nothing more, and that he will regret it and leave and go. And Ide goes to meet Ashk and he goes to Burj on the basis that they will bid her farewell before her travel, and Burj agrees to offer them a drink based on Ice's request, and they drink together and each one talks about herself and her knight in shining armor, and then he directs their words to Burj that she must be sure that her fiancé is suitable to be a husband for life. And before they leave, his hand takes Kamal's jacket from her bag and she asks Burj to give it to him, and they go to meet the rest of the group and they ride a boat and they celebrate Ashk's birthday, and she forgets that her family is holding a birthday party for her and is waiting for her, and she philosophizes about her birthday, that they will meet again on the same day after 20 years, and before she can blow out the candle, she falls into the sea, and Sinan comes down to save her, and she confesses what this is about her love for Kareem, and Burj thinks about what she heard and decides to take off the engagement ring. She takes Kamal's jacket and gives it to him herself, and before Burju leaves the house, she finds Tunkay in front of her, so she leaves him, wanting to talk to him about an important matter. He tells her that he knows he made a mistake, but he promises to return all the money to her, and she does not understand what he is talking about. He tells her that he took all her money and paid it as a deposit to a con artist to buy his land, and it turned out that he was conning. Burju tells her that she wants to break up with him even before she knows about the money story, and she tells him everything that is inside her, that she is not a servant and that he does not care about her, and that she does not want to get married, and that staying alone is better than marrying him. She goes out of the house, happy with what she has done, and goes to Kamal's house, where she finds him sitting with her colleague Billy, and she refuses to listen to him, so she leaves and returns to her house again, crying and upset. At the present time, she prepares food and drinks because she is waiting for the rest of the group to come. But they are late, and she is upset that they left her alone and no one responds to her messages, and she throws the bottle in her hand and it breaks, but then she hears the door knocking, and we go back to the group and they are in school, and Barak is intending to fight with Karam, and Baka is a teacher in the bathroom. And before the fight happens, a teacher enters and they are unable to fight and they go out of the bathroom. But he is searching in the lab that was just made recently, and they keep hitting in it, and Osman knows that a problem will happen to Kerem, and he searches for him with Asman, and they enter the lab and the fight starts between those there, and the girls join them, and he destroys the new lab, and everything in it is completely destroyed until the matter reaches the director, and it turns into a whole group for investigation, and Burj comes late after she swallows what happened on the phone. And Najda is waiting for her, and he tells her that he took permission from the minister that he can expel the students by majority vote and not by group vote, and that the meeting will take place immediately, and before she enters the investigation room and asks Kamal to immediately pull the fire alarm and send the whole school to the yard. She goes to Burj and meets the group to find out the reason for the fight. She learns from them that they did it to protect Kareem from being beaten, and that they are not the cause of the fight. She tells them that she tried to help them, but this time the majority will be fired. Wished to help them, but the meeting was postponed to Friday, and she won't be able to help them with her. After that, Kamal goes to ask Sinan about the reason for the fight, and that he is the one who pulled the fire alarm to help them based on Burj's request. Sinan tells him that he finally started to care about someone other than himself, and that he knows Burj's love to the point that he carried out her orders without asking about Sinan. Sinan confesses his love to Kamal to get him out of the state of denial he was in. He stands up from beside him and keeps looking at Burj as if confirming Sinan's words, and that he really loves her. The whole group has surrendered to the matter of their firing, and they admit that they inform their families, and all the families offer different solutions. Some say that they should transfer their daughter first before she is expelled, and thus avoid her being expelled from the school. Others say that they will pay a bribe to the school and be a sinner. The only one who doesn't know how to talk to his family because they don't have time for him, and he sees a tablet in front of him that has disappeared from its place. It was Ashk that he admired, and he understands that his father took her to his house even though Sinan had said that he loved her. But as usual, he didn't care about his son's opinion and was only interested in his second home. And it was renewed that her family decided to transfer her before the next council meeting to a school in France, so that the expulsion wouldn't be put in her file and no one of them would have anything to help her with, and he was generous with her family's decision that she must save herself. And we go to the abandoned house, and who is this who is the first one to come to Ashk after he sent her a message, and we return to the tower, and she is trying to think of something that will prevent the group from being expelled from school until she finds her door knocking, and Tunke is coming back to her, hoping that they get back together again on the basis that someone influenced her opinion. So she tells him that she is not a young child to be influenced by someone else's opinion, and that she made her decision and doesn't want to go back to him again, and closes the door in his face. She gets angry and goes to have a fight with Tanji, but she finds Kamal in front of her. He tells her that he came to her so they can think of a solution together. She tells him that he might think of a solution with Billy, which is better. She appears jealous, but she allows him to enter. They think of a solution together. Kamal tells her that he saw all their files and that there is no hope of saving them from the decision to expel them. She must be brave and admit her defeat, and that there is no way to save them. We go again to Shak and Ada. They are together in Sinan's abandoned house. They talk about their lives. Ada has painting that was a gift to Shak on the occasion of her moving into the house, and she finally keeps it. Ashk opens the gift and finds it is the same painting that was hanging on the wall of Sinan's house, and she admired. As soon as Ashk sees her, she collapses from crying and takes his hand in her arms. They sit by the sea and hold Ashk's hand and draw on her hand like she used to draw on her screen when they were school together. While they were sitting, waiting for the board of directors to issue a decision to fire them, Burj was the only one who spoke in their favor and tried in every way to defend them. She focused on their circumstances and the bad treatment they received from their families, and that the board of directors should not destroy their academic life. This might be the last hope they were clinging to, and that if they voted to fire them they would bear their guilt, and if they ever heard news of one of them committing suicide they would be sure that they were the reason. Burj succeeded in turning the votes around and making Najdat the only one who voted for them, and all the rest voted for the group to apologize for what happened and for it to be their last warning, and the apology to take place in the morning assembly in front of the whole school. But at that time Karam and Ada objected to them apologizing, and this made the situation more difficult because of their dignity and pride. Burj went to Kamal's office because he asked her, and he said, although he told her to give up, she fought and succeeded in saving the students, and this is what he loves about her, and he wishes he had a weak chance even in front of her fiancé. So she tells Buja that she broke off her engagement, and Kamal is very happy, and she finally surrenders her love to him, and Bert is the duck, both of them. By the end of the day the apology reaches Karam's family, and for the first time his father apologizes for forcing him to do many things, and that he never meant to belittle him, and that he always loved Mama. He asks him to apologize for what happened, and that he and they will be there, so that he does not feel weak in front of the school. The same thing happens with Eda, whose mother tells her to stay by her side and encourage her to do what she loves always. She gathers the whole gang before school, and they all agree to apologize in the lineup so that they can complete their studies. And they all go to school with their families, except for Asman, who is alone, and the whole school is waiting for the moment for them to apologize for what they did, and Najda has a complete apology report for them to read themselves, thus completely destroying their dignity. Sinan remains standing alone until Kamal goes to him and fixes his clothes and says that he is not alone, and reassures Sinan about him being engaged to Burju or not. After he finds out that they are engaged, he tells him everything they were trying to do from the beginning, and that he was the only hope for not being rejected by the school through his engagement to Burju. Bujo realizes everything that the group was doing before, and that they tried to bring them together with Kamal by any means, so she decides to leave school and not attend the assembly and the apology that will be said. And Najda's time comes to speak in the assembly, and he says that the time has come for the one who made the mistake to admit his mistake and apologize for it. As well, papers are distributed to them for them to read, and it is Sinan's turn to speak, and he says in front of the school that he is not sorry for what he did, and he will retire and leave the microphone and go down, and then comes his turn, and says that she does not agree to apologize, and more importantly than the apology, Najdat needs to change his suit and shoes because they are disgusting, and she throws the apology paper on the floor and goes to stand next to Asnan. And before Kareem speaks, Najdat tells him that his father agreed to rebuild the entire lab, and that the apology and something is just a formality and nothing more. He reads the paper and that's it, but he introduces himself and tells those present that he will not object and will not object, and she gets out of trouble, and before she speaks she remembers all the moments she lived with her friends, and her wish that she wished for on her birthday, which is that each one of them will be in the life of the other after 20 years, and she tells them that she does not regret what happened, and that they used to beat her colleague Kareem and she could not stand by, and that if what happened again she will intervene and quarrel and repeat the same thing she did again. So that's why she is proud that she did this, and she finds all the students applauding her, and it is Othman's turn, who he stays standing and does not speak for a while, and at the end he also tells them that he will not retire, and goes to stand with the rest of his friends, and the whole school and those who know Othman are happy about what happened, and unfortunately the 5 of them are expelled from the school, and he marries Sinan's house in order to burn the school's buildings, and it will be his tower. He remembers that the love between her and Kamal was fake, but Kamal catches up with her before she travels. He tells her that everything that happened was in their own hands because they love each other and continue to be together, and Ade and his brother are sitting in Sinan's abandoned house, reminiscing about all their memories, until the house begins to fall apart and the picture that brought them together when they were young falls on the floor and breaks, and she holds her hand and continues to lament her life and its failure and what happened to her, and tries to reassure her and tells her that they must leave the house before what collapses on them, and before they leave it, they find a second knock on the door.